Hello everyone! Today I wanted to record the process of me designing a new Dungeons & Dragons character. I'm joining a new campaign and I'm really excited, and I'm going to be playing a fighter, and I have kind of an idea in mind for the character already, and so I just need to kind of like put that down onto paper here. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of like figure out what his face is gonna look like and kind of like what direction I want to go. I kind of have in my mind like an idea already of what I want, but I'm just like not 100% sure. And so I'm just kind of like sketching around and trying to figure out like what direction to go with him. But I thought that while I'm drawing, I could tell you a little bit about his character and the plans that I have for him. So basically, this character, his name is Bram, and he is a fighter. The rest of the party are all from kind of far away, and so I wanted to make Bram be from, I think it's Demera is how you say it, the city that the campaign is going to be set in at the beginning. And he's always lived there. And so like he is kind of like just like a normal guy. He grew up in like a merchant family and who are like a pretty big part of like the merchant guild in the city. And then he's pretty like, I think kind of his personality is that he's pretty trusting and almost like naive to a point, but not exactly. I think he's just a little bit too nice to be a very good salesman. And then also like he is also kind of clumsy. So when they were trying to get him to join like some of the artisans guilds and maybe, you know, make some jewelry or something like that, it wasn't really working either. So eventually he was like, well, I'll just become like a town guard. But his problem is that the town guard where he lives is kind of run by this like order of paladins, and he doesn't really want all of the responsibility of being a paladin. It seems kind of like a lot, so he's kind of just stuck at the bottom of the guarding ladder, as it were, and yeah, so he's just kind of stuck, and I think it'll be fun to play a character who's like a really nice guy. Like the reason that he wanted to become a guard is that maybe perhaps a little bit misguided, but like he wanted to be able to like help people out in his own like community and stuff, and so like he's a pretty good guy, and I think ultimately it'll be pretty fun to see how he changes and grows over the course of the campaign. Okay, so I sped up this part of the recording because it was just kind of like long, and I mostly was kind of frustrated while drawing this. Here you can see I kind of like finish up this full body. I was pretty like inspired by some of the outfits that you can wear in like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Henry has like really cute little sort of like hoods he can wear. Also here I am kind of like figuring out his body type. I wanted him to be really beefy. I think I make him slightly less beefy than this. I feel like it was a little bit too big for what I was thinking. Like maybe in the future he can look something like that, but for right now he's like, I don't know, I really just want him to be like a completely average guy, and so I think that him being too beefy isn't maybe the way to go. We'll work on it. I'll get him to eat his eggs or whatever. Yeah, so here I am. I'm like, well, it's cold in Demara, so I want him to have like a big fur coat. And like basically the whole time I was drawing this, I had some references. I'll put them on the screen. So, you know, looking at like Henry and some other characters from Kingdom Come Deliverance, and then some like costume things that I found that I thought were interesting. I try out like a mustache. I, you know, try out spikier hair. I don't like it. I don't like the big eyebrows. I don't know what happened there. That was kind of weird. I ended up trying out like some longer hair as well, like kind of like a half up, half down kind of thing, which I did like, but I don't know. It just wasn't like totally the vibe. And I'm just like generally struggling because I feel like he looks so generic but I don't like anything else. And so that's kind of like tricky, and I don't know. It didn't totally work out, but you know, we keep going. Here I try like a beard, which I actually don't hate. I just think it aged him quite a bit. Maybe he can grow beard kind of over the course of the campaign. Something like that would be interesting. I'm really like invested in how he will like grow and change as a person. But yeah, so, you know, I'm trying out a couple different like facial hair options, seeing how they look, giving him a little sword, scribbling in like an arm, and then just at last I kind of am like, you know what, let's just make him kind of a generic guy. So as you can see, I have some drawings already done here. I didn't end up recording them. I was working with a little bit of acrylic paint markers, and I think I don't necessarily like using them. I probably just don't know what I'm doing mostly, so I didn't end up recording those, but I just wanted a nice easy way to lay down like flat colors quickly while I was kind of thinking through what I wanted him to look like. So you can see I gave him like a nice fur cloak. He's got his cute little blue hood, and ended up giving him red hair. I had initially thought I'll give him brown hair because, you know, he's just a regular guy, but he was kind of looking too regular. And so I decided that red hair would probably be the way to go. It's a little bit, you know, more unusual than the average person. Most people don't have red hair, so it gives him a little bit of visual interest, but like honestly, not that much. But, you know, he's got room to grow. And then you can see I did like a little sort of action pose where he's got his sword out. I mean, it didn't totally turn out. And then he's looking grumpy. Maybe he's like, halt, who goes there? You know, because he's a guard. And then what I'm drawing right now is a little full body. You know, I've kind of thought out his design, and now I want to draw him standing there so that I can kind of put it all together. He's gonna be kind of like standing there looking, you know, with a nice sort of neutral expression on his face, since he's kind of just like an average guy, and he'll be holding his spear in his hand because as a guard he starts out with like a spear, so I thought that might give like a slight interest to this otherwise pretty generic just sort of standing pose. I have been working on drawing more interesting poses, but this is kind of going to serve as like a reference for him, and so, you know, I find it best to keep it pretty simple, like 3/4 almost fully facing the camera, just so that you can see sort of like the whole character design, since I know I'll end up referencing this in the future when I want to draw him again. So now it is time for some watercolor. I'm pretty happy with the way this will end up turning out. I love watercolor, but I haven't really used it in a while, and it was nice to get back to it. I think it's probably one of my favorite paint mediums. I'm not super good with it, and I don't have really the patience required to be good at it. I tend to rush, and then the colors will bleed together, which does end up happening at one point in this one. His hair, the orange, starts running into his face, and I kind of panic and like dab at it with my fingers, and ultimately it is fine, but that is something that I know I will need to work on if I want to ever get better with watercolors than just kind of being able to put down some like flat washes. But I think ultimately this turns out really good. I tried some things I wouldn't normally try, like kind of indicating the chain links in the chainmail with little brush strokes, and I think it turned out really, really good, and I'm quite proud of that. It was just sort of something I thought, I might as well try it, doesn't really matter, and it ended up looking pretty good, so I'm quite pleased with how that came together. overall, I'm pretty pleased with this drawing, honestly. I went into it without really expecting anything and just kind of allowed myself to be creative and follow, I guess, like, kind of wherever my heart took me and do whatever I wanted with it, and it ended up being quite successful, if not a little bit messy. So I think I want to do some more stuff like that in my sketchbook here especially, and maybe I'll make some more videos like this. I'd love to do some more character designs. I love doing character designs, and I've actually been thinking of doing some solo Dungeons and Dragons as a way to kind of work on my own writing and stuff, and I thought it would be fun to do it as a way to kind of like come up with comic ideas, since lately I've been really into making comics, and I made one. You can find it on my Instagram or my Blue Sky, but I want to make more, and I eventually want to color them, and I think my ideal goal is to eventually make them traditionally. I've been making them digitally because it's a little bit more convenient, but I would love to make them traditionally eventually. I think inking by hand really lends a really beautiful look to comic book inking, and it's something that I truly feel you can't replicate digitally. I don't know what it is about it. I feel like I can always tell when a piece has been inked traditionally. There's just always something about it. And I really want that in my own work, so I know that eventually I'll need to kind of get like a setup where I can do that, but for now, we're making digital comics, which are also awesome, and I've been having a lot of fun. So yeah, I was thinking like kind of like solo play D&D, or like maybe even Call of Cthulhu, because I'm a little bit more interested in Call of Cthulhu stuff. Yeah, I love Call of Cthulhu. It's actually my favorite tabletop. I love D&D, but Call of Cthulhu is like definitely my favorite tabletop RPG I've ever played. I've played quite a few now, but yeah, it's definitely my favorite. And I love Cthulhu by Gaslight as well. I love the Victorian era, and kind of like, I don't know, I think it's such like a fascinating period of time that in a lot of ways really echoes our own. And so like, I think if I do end up doing a solo play tabletop, I probably will do Cthulhu by Gaslight, which is like Victorian era Call of Cthulhu, which is normally set in the 1920s. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent, but look forward to that video, another kind of design some characters with me. I have a couple ideas that I've been kind of sleeping on for that, so that will probably be coming up soon, actually. Might even be my next video, depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, so I just really enjoyed doing the watercolors. It was really fun, and I think it turned out really good. So as I kind of finish up here and the video wraps up, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you got this far, I really appreciate it, and I hope that you will join me for the next video. Okay, bye!